I do think I made an actual good choice recently. I just quit being vegan after a year and a half of doing it. I'm back, baby! Back in these meat streets. Oh, man, does it feel good to have friends again.
Kelsey Cook is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Good to see you, Kelsey.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to the dark side.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I was trying to think, is Kelsey one of those kind of 50-50 male-female names?
It is, yeah.
Because they're names that are, I don't know, Sam or something. You can go,
Sure.
yeah, but there's more dude Sams. It's
Yeah,
cute on a
yeah.
girl, but there's more dude Sams.
Yeah.
But Kelsey, I'd go,
Is it? No.
I think there's
a little more
way more
dude.
women.
Way more women.
I only know
Way
Kelsey
more?
Grammer. That's the only
Yeah,
male
exactly.
I know.
You just know that one really well.
I interviewed him last week or something.
This is on the top of your mind, yeah.
No, I went to school with a Kelsey.
Interesting.
I had a few. There are a few Kelseys out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Google famous Kelseys and let's see what percentage of them. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I think it's an older. Sorry, it was a man's name 30 years ago
Okay.
or 50 years ago, and
Yeah.
now it's morphed. It moved toward the
Became a
feminine
female,
side.
yeah.
So, stand up. Where'd you shoot your stand-up special, by the way? Mark your territory. It's available now on Hulu and on YouTube
Yeah.
as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
How'd that work, the Hulu and YouTube marriage?
So I've never done anything like this, and I think Hulu, this is maybe one of the first times they've tried it, but it's kind of nice because press-wise, like I think there are certain media outlets that if you say, oh, I have a YouTube special, they're like, yeah, that's not big enough for you to come on our show. But if you have the Hulu of it all, then your publicist is going to be like, that's coming on Hulu, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then you do Good Morning America or whatever. But it is a little hard because you don't see the views on Hulu. You do see them for YouTube. So I'm hoping that the YouTube views still look good, but it's hard because like we are losing some to Hulu, and then you don't want to look like nobody's watching it at all on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. You
Kind of impacts,
siphon them off to Hulu because
Right.
we don't need to see it on YouTube. Or a percentage of us
Sure.
don't need to see it that
Yeah.
way. We got a list of famous Kelseys.
Yeah.
You're number 14. But what I'm looking for is the
Honestly, I'll take
male-female
it.
You're working your way
breakdown.
I'll
up,
take
baby.
14.
You're working your way up. We're going to climb up above.
Kelsey Grammer's number 1, and the rest are all women. You're right.
Told you.
Only
Wow.
that. And what about the dude I went to high school with?
What's he up to?
Yeah. So you're number 14. Who are you behind? Because I think we could pick off a few of these
Right?
Kelseys. You
We're
know?
climbing the ranks.
I know. Now I feel like I have beef with
Like,
these
look,
people.
I'm
What are you
never-
doing-
These are your mortal enemies. There can
Yeah.
only be one.
What are you doing ahead of me?
I'm never going to catch Adam Levine. Like, I made my peace with that.
Okay,
but I
yeah,
could
yeah.
get to Adam Schiff at some point, you know? Like,
Sure.
there are guys, there are other Adams I could get to.
I'm number 2 behind the Mayhem Miller, who's on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
dang.
You got a Ishi in front of you. That's
Oh, I think she
Who's number
identifies as-
13 who's ahead of Kelsey over here?
I will
'Cause
say the pictures, it's a kind of an OnlyFans vibe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting a lot of like money for
I was
feet
thinking
pics.
prison lineup, but all right. Yeah.
Okay. Like some of them are pretty
Nah, we like them.
attractive.
who's in front of you? I'm trying to who's and can we pick her off? That's what I'm saying. Can we start
we-
a campaign? You know what I mean? Kelsey Dara?
Who is this YouTube star? Yeah, see.
You got it.
No.
You got this.
You got her.
How many subscribers does she
She's
have?
nothing. She got a Hulu
120.
special?
You got it.
Come on.
Come on. You
Yeah.
gotta do better.
I
Someone's
mean,
gotta
you guys
update
are both
this.
on YouTube, so the solution is boxing.
This is what we were
I'll
doing.
train you. Don't
celebrity.
worry. I'll hold the pads every day. You'll get after it, okay? You're going to knock her the fuck out.
Honestly, I'm into it. Let's fucking do
I
it.
know. Okay.
I've got
Hey, I'm
crazy-
signing that. I brought the contract here, right here, actually.
Perfect.
The got dates coming up, Spokane Comedy Club, which is cool. Been there.
Yeah, that's my hometown.
Oh, the WILBUR in Boston is great.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
thanks.
theater. That is a great theater. That's coming up February 21st. Great Cedar Showroom, Foxwoods. That's coming up Connecticut. Yeah, the WILBUR's a beautiful, old-timey
Thanks.
Theater. It's a great venue.
Legendary. I opened for Jim Norton there years ago. I used to open for him on tour.
Oh, you did?
And, but this will be my first time headlining, and I'm so excited.
How was it touring with Jim Norton? Inquiring minds.
Pretty wacky.
I get asked that so often.
Well, I know Jim pretty well.
I know.
Yeah, he's the best. He changed my life completely because I think if you have a young comic where you're like, yes, you can open for me on this entire tour, you get to quit your day job. Like it really changed my life. But he used to do embarrassing things to me on the road, but his tour manager, Club Soda Kenny, do you know Club Soda Kenny?
Mm-hmm. I don't know him. I've
Okay.
heard of
We
him.
know of him.
Infamous. He would do things all the time to me that were just like mortifying. He was always the guy who would do the God mic to bring us out
Yeah.
on stage. And every theater show, he'd be the side of stage and he'd go, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Norton. And people go, ah. And then he'd go, but first. And you could just like feel
I
people
like it. Oh, they pull back?
immediately be like, God damn
But
it.
you'd
And
win
then-
'em.
Well, but then I would walk out, which like very different vibe from
Yeah.
Jim, at least like aesthetically. And I could just see men be like, this is a good time to take a dump. Like,
Oh, walk in the
I'll be
crowd.
back in 20. Just from like looking at me, but then by the end of the tours with him, I feel like
Nice.
his
How
fan
did
base
Jim?
was
How did you guys pair up? Because it seems a little unlikely.
right. So he had tweeted, this is years ago, that he was coming to LA, and I lived here at the time, and he was promoting a special, and he was like, "What podcast should I do?" And I had a podcast at the time, and some of the listeners were like, "Oh, you should get him on," and I was like, "I've never met him. I don't want to just be like." Suckling at the teat, but then somebody had, I guess his like business email was public, and they're like, hey, this is his email, he responds to this, you should just send something. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. So I sent an email, and he responded and was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do it. And I was like, I'm not going to get beheaded, right? Like, this is an actual real thing. If I go to this hotel room, I'm not going to die. They're like, nope, this is his email. And so I did it, and it went great. And it just was one of those things where I knew that Amy Schumer had opened for him for a few years on tour, I believe. And so I said, if you ever need an opener, I'd love to work with you. And did one show, and then he sent me the rest of the dates for the year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was 3 years I toured with him. So yeah, he really did. He was like my,
That's great.
comedy fairy godmother.
Yeah.
I could see him wearing a dress.
Twisted.
That exact dress and bippity boppity boo.
The thing that's off-putting about him is how normal his parents are.
Isn't it interesting?
Because you must have seen them
They're
on the
so
road.
sweet. They're the sweetest people on the planet.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, they.
And still married.
Yeah,
You know.
you don't. They're American Gothic type. Like I don't know what you would think if you met them and you knew Jim and you knew
Yeah.
his ways.
Maybe too much family values does that to a guy.
I get possibly.
Yeah.
But when you meet them, they seem so normal and adjusted and
Yes.
and everything you wouldn't think they would be.
Very like mild mannered.
Yes.
So you look at and you're like, okay, like nature versus nurture.
But I
What
guess
happened?
Yeah.
if you met my parents, you wouldn't know what they did or my mom.
Right.
My mom didn't talk. She didn't have a sense. My mom had no sense of humor. My dad
Oh my
really
God,
didn't like
okay.
talking and stuff.
Yeah.
Just sort of sit there. So you wouldn't get anything from me off of them. But your dad, at least it looks like from this, is
Oh, God, my dad.
is a bit of a character.
Yeah, he's like a full clown.
And
No.
he was a yo-yo champion.
Your
Yes.
dad came to my elementary school.
Shut up.
Swear to God.
I know, it's
Yep.
what he did.
I bought a butterfly from him.
Oh, butterfly's
Duncan.
a nice yo-yo.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And he could do the cats and the cradle and the walking the dog and the whole thing.
course.
Everything.
Waterfall.
Everything. Yeah. And when you're a kid, that's really exciting to have your dad come and be like the entertainment at the school. And then, man, it just takes such a turn when you get to high school.
Yeah.
It goes from like your dad's so cool when you're young, and then you get to high school age and you're like, if you come near this school with your yo-yos, like I'm trying to lose my virginity out here. Like I need you to be nowhere near this school. And now I'm an adult, and now it's cool again. So it's like a weird
Roller
relationship
coaster.
with it. But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Was he a professional? Was he like
Yeah.
a champion?
Yeah.
He was considered an international yo-yo man.
Wow.
So he would
Yep.
travel.
His name, I remember.
He would.
You do?
Yes, the International Yo-Yo Man. I did my research. I said, oh my God, I know her daddy. Yes, that's
Is
so
he
crazy.
still with us?
He is. Yes.
And he didn't get laid in high school, I guess, but somehow he met your mom.
Right.
And
yeah.
And he learned the yo-yo, and back when it was something, like it was kind of cool, like for a minute. And then there was a window in time where what we did. Here's
a movement up and down and up and down and up.
We did plate spinning in the 50s and the 60s. There's plate spinners.
Yeah.
Then that gave way to the yo-yo, and then that gave way to cup stacking. Yes. Now we're at cup stacking. We're still at cup stacking for some reason. We had a little window of the boomerang. They made a boomerang for a minute. People were like, too many kids probably got too many concussions or something.
Probably.
But
maybe pogo stick time? Was that big?
I remember that
pogo stick.
What is that ball called? The Bop It Whammo ball, where you stand with it. It's a neon colored ball and you hop up and down. It's like a unicycle, but stupider.
There was a click clack. Certain things were outlawed. So there was a weird sort of 70s kind of pre-digital where you had to kind of make your own fun.
Yes.
And people did a lot of like craft stuff. Like you'd see guys wearing hats that were knitted together with yarn made of Budweiser cans. You can take a Budweiser can and take a panel off it and punch holes in it and then make yourself a sun hat out of yarn. There was a whole thing. There was a commercial for bottles. So what you would do, there was a commercial where it was a glass cutter. So you'd take like a 7-Up bottle, you'd cut it, you'd knock it off, you'd sand it, and you'd have a beautiful tumbler, for free. Like there was rock tumblers. Like there was a whole kind of make your own.
Just so much time on people's
a
hands.
lot of this is on Etsy right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
There were dudes. There was always the dude in town who had a pickup truck who made his own camper shell out of plywood or birch or something. 1x6 dog-eared redwood.
My Uncle Bill.
TNG, like this dude camper guy. Like people just kind of did stuff. And
my dad was the king of these things.
He did? Did he have?
Well, it's just like, who masters yo-yo? Like, these things were so strange that he did. So he would, like, master yo-yo. He, like, mastered Frisbee. And then, I don't know the timing of this with yo-yo and foosball, but foosball became this massive thing.
I think that was like a fratty thing that turned into a thing.
Right.
But the Frisbee's pretty cool, too.
Yeah. So he got really into that. But so my parents both became professional foosball players. That's how they met. They met at a professional foosball tournament. My mom's in the Foosball Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Wow.
It's this whole weird. So you're talking about if you met your parents, you would maybe not go, oh, this is somebody who's related to a comedian, right?
If you met my mom, you'd think both her kids were dead. Because she seemed depressed and she wouldn't talk about us. So you wouldn't want to bring us up because you'd be like tearing a Band-Aid off. Yeah, obviously they're not with us.
Disturb her.
Yeah, it's no way they're successful people because you'd probably be talking about them at some point.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she would think we were dead. You would think.
Happy Mother's Day.
And my dad, you would just, if you talk to my mom, you'd think both her kids died.
Yeah.
And if you talk to my dad, you would think he never had kids. So he was a little better.
Really? Okay.
He was a little bit better than my mom.
We're working through all these issues on the air.
Yeah, we're working through them.
A little bit of trauma.
But your parents, foosball, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. And so, there's my mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had me, and then they would start standing me on a stool when I was like 2. So I was tall enough to see the top of the table, and they trained me.
They thought you were going to be the next.
So did you let them down? Did you ever see foosball gold?
You know, I've like gotten first in a couple things. I've competed my whole life, but
you're underselling it. You're the world foosball champion. I did my research.
Well, I had a web series for a while called Wrists of Fury where I would play against other comedians.
Oh, wow.
I would like hustle people. We did I hustled people on the Vegas Strip, like hustled drunk dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
But you have like the people who are the top ranked in the world, they put an amount of time into it that we do into comedy. Like you have to really make it your life to be the top ranked. But yeah, it's like the reason I exist. I literally wouldn't exist if it weren't for foosball. Just
Your
sad.
parents.
That's awesome. It's awesome that you were into something so deep, and now you like made this strange.
That's all they did
change.
for a living. Did they have side jobs?
My mom was working in foosball and playing for a while exclusively, and then my dad for 40 years has been a trumpet player in the Spokane Symphony. So that's like his main thing.
That was
And then
my dad's main thing was
trumpet. Yes, both you guys are trumpeteer.
Yeah,
No
but he
way.
wasn't good. but it was his whole world.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great.
I kind of even have the feeling, and I would assume, but your dad was pretty diverse.
Yeah.
But a lot of dexterity with those fingers of your dad, you know what I mean? With
Yeah,
the valves and the
I don't wanna think
the
about too much.
foos and let's not go to the finger part. Mom, the imagery of mom pops in.
Trumpet, yo-yo. Too much fingers.
I have a thought. My thought is my dad, who never played trumpet professionally, probably spent more time holding a trumpet and talking about playing the trumpet than your dad, who went and did it for a living and then came
Really?
home and was probably able to put the trumpet down, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, he would practice, obviously, all different sorts of rehearsals and stuff, but yeah, generally he was like also just normal dad outside of that. Minus yo-yo, I guess. But
Yeah, so my dad never had the trumpet was never further than 28 inches from him, wherever he was.
Oh my God.
He sat there with trumpets right next to him all the time.
What did he do for a living?
Well, he was a sort of substitute school teacher for a while.
Okay.
And then then that gave way to working at an orphanage, as we used to call them, and working at the school in the orphanage, and then a foster home or whatever it was, place kids couldn't be placed, and they couldn't go to school outside of the facility because they were too troubled or whatever it is.
Okay.
So he sort of worked there. Then he stopped doing that when he was probably like 50 and decided that he wanted to be a therapist, but that he was going to have to go to school for several years in order to get his certificate or whatever that thing was. And then at some point, probably about the age of 65 or something, became a therapist, and that's what he did. Now everything was always a little part-timey, and there was never any real money or success, but there was a kind of a slow drip of work, but never really enough to be what you would call successful.
Never owned a yo-yo.
Okay.
Never owned a yo-yo.
That's always the marker for well.
Oh, do we have
yo-yo,
do we have Kelsey's dad playing that? Is there footage of your
Yes.
Yeah, it's my dad playing the trumpet and your dad's playing the trumpet.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, would your dad play for the orphans?
Oh, they'd had enough.
I was gonna say,
They've
if
seen
they're
enough.
like, God, I hope I get
They've
adopted
already
soon.
been
I gotta get
traumatized
out
by their alcoholic
No more.
stepdad that physically and verbally
cannot
and
take
emotionally
any more
molested
trumpet.
them.
Please no more
My
trumpet.
God.
Yeah, that would have triggered them like a Vietnam vet hearing a helicopter. You know what I mean? They would have gone off.
I hear the
Cold
round
sweats. Yeah, your dad could play the trumpet.
Yeah, it's his still.
My dad couldn't play my dad could play the trumpet a little bit, but for some reason he built his whole. I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you what it is. I think, but you guys can tell me. Everybody sort of needs something to kind of build a life on. To say, hey, let me prove I was alive.
Yeah.
Like here's what I did, And every once in a while, and you'll understand this example, like once in a while I'm a car guy. So once in a while I'll talk to a guy and he'll go, I got a 68 Mustang notchback, not the original owner, but my stepdad bought it when I was 13 and now I have it now and it's in primer, but it's in the garage. Had it for 27 years now. I'm working on it. Not done yet. Engine's not in. it's my pride and joy, and I'm like, it's $1,300 worth of car. Like it's literally a 17-year-old Mini Cooper with 170,000 miles on it is worth much more. Now I know it's not all worth. I'm just saying, Ford made 200 million of these notchback Mustangs in 1968. Yours is in primer. It's not the one Steve McQueen drove in Bullet or anything. It's just it's $2,000 worth of car.
Yeah,
and it's in primer and it's never going to be done. And you're pulling out pictures. Literally, they're getting pictures out of, and look at it. This
like
is
it's their child.
Well, bro,
and
I just wanted you to see the craftsmanship that's going into it.
And so what I realize is everybody needs something. Now, if you wrote books or had successful TV shows or something, then you don't go to the notchback Mustang. You might hop ahead to the book or something. You don't need these little things, but everyone kind of needs to grab onto something. And my dad had no success in life and had nothing he could brag about, but the trumpet, it didn't matter how bad he would still be the only person in the room who could play the trumpet because there'd be six people.
You're right.
With air quotes around play.
I'm going home
loosely.
We found your dad playing trumpet next to a guy playing an organ.
Oh
wow, this is your dad.
That's you guys did a deep dive. Well, my dad and I started something in the pandemic too called Trumpet Tuesday, where he would learn how to play the trumpet version of like Jay-Z songs.
Oh, really?
Songs.
Really?
Because if you hear a song on the radio and it has trumpet, I would always just think, I wonder if I played that for my dad, if he could just pick up his trumpet.
You're not going to believe me.
Out.
I've also seen that on TikTok.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Was your dad
so
a big fan of the band Cake?
Yes, we did a lot of Cake covers.
You did a lot of...
I love Cake so much.
Well, you can't do Cake covers. There is a trumpet in Cake. I mean...
Well...
It's
so
cheating.
He's playing the trumpet part. I mean, he's playing the trumpet part.
But he can't. He says trumpet on trumpet crime. That's brass on brass crime right there. He has to play a Jay-Z song with no trumpet.
Give him a break.
Okay.
He's going the distance.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
I feel like you're
going for
projecting your dad's lack of trumpet ability.
Man, he's
onto
mad
me
about
right
that trumpet, let me tell you.
Damn it, if you just hugged me once in a while, put that trumpet down.
God damn
I
it.
wish you'd held me like you'd held that trumpet, old man.
Oh, you broke him apart.
I got a spit foul for you. All right, so this is your dad playing.
Yeah.
Again, it's cheating with Cake, but we'll hear him play this.
Oh boy. Oh, we're actually gonna play this.
Yeah, my dad could never do this.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my god.
Here it goes.
Look at him.
Wow. Regal.
Beautiful. This is so funny. I never imagined I would come on today and hear my dad in a cathedral play. I've never seen this video in my life.
Oh, we got my dad playing the trumpet somewhere on there. Oh, all right, a little more of your dad.
Oh, that's very nice.
All right, after you hear my dad play the trumpet, you're going to hug your dad so hard next time, you're never going to let him go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're going to weep, and you're going to just say thank you over and over again. And he's going to go, what's this about? What's this about?
I've really taken this for granted. I just...
Oh, wait till you hear my dad play the trumpet.
Oh, I can't wait.
Man. Next on Masterpiece Theater.
Killed it.
That's crushing it.
Yeah. It is very funny to watch him do. Like, he covered WAP by Cardi B.
That's what I'm saying. Not Cake. WAP.
Yeah. There are certain songs that have things that kind of sound like trumpet but aren't, and he will do those notes. And
He
it's
can just
like-
hear it and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, your dad's a genius. All right, sorry. Do we have my dad's playing the trumpet
Busted.
somewhere in
Looking
there.
now.
What's your dad's name?
Jim.
Jim.
Jim, we
Sweet,
have
sweet
at my
Jim.
computer. Yeah, he's going to be missed. Not by people with ears, but
Oh, Jim.
he loved the trumpet. It brought him great joy. But your dad, I mean, foosball,
Yeah.
There may never be another man like your dad.
It's like the Dos Equis guy. He's like
The most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. He's also a slam poetry champion. I'm telling you, it's
What?
like weird. Yeah, he just.
Well, maybe your dad's just a genius.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
The
you think
champion
of
of
that?
obscure hobbies and sports.
He's extremely smart. I think he figures something out and he likes it, and then he wants to figure the next thing out, and so he just has all these hobbies.
That's good. Now you see, your mom is wired that way because most women get annoyed by that because the guy ends up going to the basement and he starts working on his Civil War models, and she's like, "Would you come upstairs already?" And he's like, "I'm finishing. I got a battle going down here." You know,
Sharpening his sword.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got.
Your
I
dad.
think we got my dad. Now remember, I want you to hug your dad. I want you to weep, and you just keep saying thank you over and over again. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Yo! I wasn't ready for that.
And barely knows how to use a yo-yo. I mean, he's okay. He's okay. He's not professional. He's fine. He's not okay.
fine.
He was ranked in an amateur, but he was not professional.
He can't do walk the dog. He can do drag the dog.
He
does
drags
mostly
that dog
yo-yo.
around. He doesn't go all the way around the world. He'll do
I'll
the
go to Jersey.
yeah. Come back. What a crazy life. You know,
know, right?
it's so interesting. Like Chris Hardwick's dad was a professional bowler.
Right.
And you hear these stories, everyone, and you're like, okay, these people had to have kids somewhere along the line.
Yep.
But that's kind of crazy when you talk about, most people are like, my mom was a housewife and my dad was he was an attorney at an insurance firm or something. I was like, that's your parents.
Yeah. It's just, I'm like the least interesting.
So
of my
wait,
family.
how do you make the
Yeah, I
slide
was
into
going to say, can you get
performing?
dad in here?
I know. Yeah. he'd
No,
happily
but
come in here.
what pushed you into this kind of comedic lifestyle? It's not normal for women to jump on there. Like it's different.
I know, and I had no intention of going into it. I went into college as a math major. I thought I was going to be a high school math teacher at the high school I went to. Like, that's how little risk I wanted
Spokane.
to take. Yeah, that's how little risk I wanted to take in life. I wanted to just, like, get a job that I knew was in demand and just do it at the high school I went to. Like, wanted no change in my life. And then I got to, it was like Calculus 3, halfway through college, just brain bleeding out of my ears. I was like, this can't be what I'm supposed to do. And so I switched to a broadcast production major, and one of the first things you have to do is take a public speaking class. And I kept turning my assignments basically into like comedy sketches. And my professor pulled me aside afterward and was like, you're like obviously doing way more work than you need to, but it's like, you're so funny. You should do the open mic at the school. You should try this. So
Your math teacher told you.
no, my public speaking
my
teacher, because
bad.
I changed into that.
Sorry, I got
But
stuck.
No, it's okay. So yeah, and it was just kind of one of those things.
Mayhem's teacher pulled him aside and said, you should let someone punch you in the head.
Yeah, I got to long division, and they were like, "Buddy, here's a mouthpiece and a cup.
We're done."
Get in the ring."
We have your dad playing DMX.
You
Yeah.
guys will love this. It's so
All right.
fun.
Now, would you call your dad a ham?
Kinda. It's gotta be right.
Yes and no. He's very normal. If you were to just talk to him, he's not like weird and jokey. He would just, he's like kind of mild mannered, quiet, nice.
You gotta be serious to yo-yo.
Well, then he means it. Means he means it. All right, here he is.
Where the hood at?
System of a Down.
Yeah. Disorder. Deep in the dining with me. Well, the dining disorder.
Hold on a second. This is Posit.
I'm into it.
This is so weird because I'm going out to dinner with System of a Down tonight
up.
with Dr.
Really?
Drew.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, will you please tell Dr. Drew I say hi?
Hell yeah.
I'll tell him your dad said what's up. We'll see how this interview goes. You got to earn a high.
Come on.
Dr. Drew. If I just told him every Yahoo wannabe comedian says hi, I'd be saying him hi all day.
I'm the only repeat guest on his show.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right,
You
I'll
know,
bring that up
see.
to him. Yeah, me and I just found this out. Okay, I'm living with Dr. Drew, so I get to say hi to him every day.
Say hi all the time.
I didn't know
In his
this.
bathrobe.
I'm displaced from my home in Malibu.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I'm living with Dr. Drew,
Okay.
and 25 years ago, maybe more, me and Dr. Drew went out to dinner with System of a Down and Glendale, which is,
Okay.
kind of Armo City, at the Mediterranean place, and we had we had a lovely sit down meal with them, and then we had a small incident involving an appetizer. Nothing personal, but it was an appetizer.
Can we know about this incident?
Well, it was. I've said it before. I'll try to make it quick. I think who was on the show? Chavo, was I talking to him about it? So we met System of a Down at a restaurant, a very popular restaurant in Glendale, a Mediterranean type restaurant.
And put the appetizer upon the table.
Yes, and this is kind of before people ate at these kinds of restaurants. I mean, white people, and we're talking 1999 here, probably. It wasn't ubiquitous like kebabs and falafel and stuff like that now. And I'm sort of that ilk of food because it was always that kind of, you want Chinese, you want Mexican, you want a steak, and Thai food was a little exotic. Indian was a little, but didn't really do the lula kebab and stuff like that. But anyway, Drew and I met them. Now, we used to have a show that ran at 10 p.m. at night, and it ran in Culver City. And there were lots of dinners and events and stuff I would go to, but at about 9:15, 9:20, I'd have to pop up and go, I got to go get the car from the valet. We got to split. Me and Drew would always just get up and leave.
You wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, it was no... It was kind of no fun because you couldn't really have drinks and stuff. You'd have a glass of wine or something, but you couldn't. You couldn't get your drink on. You couldn't hang.
You wanted to.
You had to leave. So anyway, we met System of a Down at the restaurant at 7:00 or whatever, and they kept going. As soon as we sat down, they go, "You gotta try these appetizers. These appetizers are the best." There's one thing because they know the menu. And it's System of a Down, and it's 1999, and they're in Glendale, and they're the prince of all Armenians. Because to be fair with Armenians, it's like they got System of a Down, they got Mark Garagos, they got Britney Spears' ex-husband. Like, there's not a lot to choose from in terms of. There's just not a lot there.
Right,
you know what I mean?
You're forgetting the UFC.
Okay, but that's a newer thing. There wasn't even the UFC.
Oh, you're right. You're
then.
right. My bad. Yeah.
It's slim pickings with Armenian idols. Back in 1999.
Kardashians weren't a
Not
thing.
even on the
Kardashians
scene.
weren't a thing.
Hadn't even Ray J.
Yeah.
It was slim pickings. And there weren't any Armenian rock stars.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we went in there, and when System of a Down came walking into their restaurant, they were like, oh my God, oh my God. And the staff started running around, filling up water and running around. You want something to drink, And then we sat there, and we were like, they're treating us like kings, And then they go, you got to try these appetizers. They do this kind of appetizer with the meat and the thing and the pastry and whatever. It's the best, the best. They're talking about the whole time. So then the waiter comes by and says, oh, the System of Down, it's a System of Down, and Chavo or one of the guys goes, we're gonna get like 2 orders of the appetizer with the meat and the pastry crust. Okay, so bring those out right away. Bring those first. We'll order later. You guys are gonna love these. And the guy goes, those just for takeout. And he goes, yeah, okay, but just bring them here. Bring them to the table. No. Yeah, we don't want to eat them out. We're not taking them out. We're just going to eat them. That appetizer's just for takeout.
Weird.
And he goes, okay, I get it, but we really like to we're going to order a lot. So just bring 2 plates. You can eat outside. This is not for here.
What the heck?
And they go, all right, sorry, this is embarrassing. Like they're looking at me and Drew going, sorry, this is kind of embarrassing. Maybe the guy starts talking to him in his native tongue or something.
Yeah.
And the guy's shaking his head. It's like, no.
Why didn't you
it's like, it's on take-out the menu. He said, yeah, okay, just bring them to here and we'll eat them. No. And the guy's like, we're so sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Like, get the manager. The system of a down is here. Get the break. Manager comes out. The system of down. The system of down. Yeah, we're going to get the appetizer. We're going to bring. That is for takeout. Yeah, I know. Just bring them here to the. No.
I don't know why you wouldn't just trust in his self-righteous suicide.
So then we're all just sitting there and they're like, God, this is so embarrassing. These are the best thing on the menu. They built them all up.
Yeah.
We never had them. They would not bring them to the
stink like
fucking
the
table.
Dickens. They don't want to stink up the whole restaurant with that thing. Who knows?
I realized at that point the Armenians' love of saying the word no transcends any kind of stardom or rock star, any celebrity. It's like, no, everything is a distant second to no.
Because they're white.
No, it's just no. They love the word no.
Say no.
They love
Dang.
no. And we never got it.
Anything like that.
And we've been laughing about that story for 25 years.
Peppers.
And at some point, we just said, you know what? It's time for a reunion. And we got to get back. We're going back to the same restaurant.
No way.
Yeah.
We're going to order those appetizers.
Are you going to eat there or are you going to get it to go? I mean, what are we doing here? You're going to go your whole life not knowing what these taste like?
Dr. Drew in the parking lot with a mouthful of pita.
Yeah. I feel like we can get them now. Like kind of. Remember McDonald's always cut their breakfast off at like 10:30 in the morning, and like, why don't you just serve it all day? I don't get it. And then at some point they just went, oh fuck it, you can buy it whenever you want or whatever.
Hungover, you want a hash brown at 3 p.m.
Oh my God!
Please God.
I used to dream. I had a fantasy because you ever had the thing where it wasn't 11, it was like 10:30.
Yeah.
When they'd lock and once your brain gets locked into that sausage McMuffin, it's like laser tractor beam, nothing else.
Nothing else will do.
Nothing else. Yeah, you're hungover and you just go, I'm gonna get 2 of those. And you get locked in and you come pulling in at like 10:35 and they go, no breakfast. And you go, but to 11, right? To 11? And they go, no, it's 10.
It's
10:30.
part of that movie falling
10:30.
down. He started a shooting rampage
really?
because of that. Michael Douglas, I believe.
had a fantasy. Now, it would have to be Sunday mornings because people have to go Saturday night. They got to get their drink on, right? And when they knocked it off at 10:30, and I would just go there at 9:45 and I'd order 35 egg McMuffins and I would just stand there in the parking lot, and I'd see people look dejected in their face, and they'd come around and I'd go, oh, do you want a sausage McMuffin? And they'd go, oh, fuck yeah, I do. I'd go, oh, that'd be $121. the chick would be like, I only have $80. I'm like, okay, maybe a blowjob. I don't know. Let me see. I'm feeling generous.
Surge pricing takes over.
You're a maker of
Speaking
dreams.
of Surge, I was one of the guys from System of Down that got turned down.
Exactly right.
But seriously, I think you could sell one. You could sell one for like $30.
Yeah, like just a
If
scalper
someone in my
out
bracket,
there.
I'll give you $30. I'll take the
Absolutely.
sandwich. I want it so bad.
Oh my God! So my boyfriend Chad Daniels, also a comedian, been on your show before.
Yeah, Chad.
He used to do shows. I think it was House of Comedy in Minneapolis, which is in a mall, and there was maybe like a Chili's or an Applebee's next door.
Oh, Chad, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful beard.
Yes.
Does he still have his beautiful beard?
Beautiful man. Yep. Beautiful beard. When he was coming up in comedy to try to make extra money between shows, he would go get one of the waiting for the table buzzers and put his name down. And then if there was a family of 6 that was dying to get in, but the wait was an hour, Chad would go up and be like, $20.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't want to eat there. He just wanted to have that hustle of like, can I just make another $20-$30?
He's scalping at
selling this
Applebee's?
to a family that wanted to cut the line.
I'd do that with my dad. I'd go, start playing the trumpet, and eventually they'll start pulling money out to get you to stop. That's how I made my cash as a young comedian that way.
My ears are bleeding.
I can't take anymore. What's it going to take to get your lips off that trumpet, old man?
Oh, God.
I'll pay anything.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, I forgot about Chad. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best.
Now when I hear his jokes, I think about you, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when you hear mine, you can think about him.
Oh.
Well, you know, some of them are situations, you know, they're intimate. I don't know.
His daughter unfollowed me on Instagram.
Yes,
because
how?
of some of my jokes about him. She's like, I did
Yeah,
not need
Too much.
How does that work when, I mean, let's be honest. When comedians, and especially me, go, that's just joking about whatever race, fill in whatever race or whoever I'm talking about. I'm not joking. I mean it. I mean every joke I say. I try to put a little flavor on it, but the reason I thought of it is because I mean it. You know, I may be busting my dad's chops, but do not.
genuinely don't want to hear
He's
that.
not Herb Alpert. That I will tell you right now. So there's always something there.
Right.
And so when you start telling these stories, sometimes they're a little intimate because there's a little sexual tone to them or what have you, which, by the way, you have to do because you're trying to get a laugh. You're not telling boring, mundane, G-rated stuff. But then somebody's related to somebody and here's something at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. It's weird for my parents to hear stuff like that and then have Chad over for dinner. It's weird for his kids to hear it. But it's like, this is my career. You can't become a completely different person just because you're worried about your parents hearing it.
Would your parents, would they seek it out? Like, do they need to hear it?
So I always was like, you guys can listen to whatever you want. You can come to my shows. That's all fine. But just know, like, I am dirty sometimes. The only time I told them I don't want you to watch this was my This Is Not Happening story on Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, the first time I tried to masturbate, I used a manicure tool. I didn't know I was allergic to latex. Everything spelled shut. I had to go to the emergency room.
Wow. Yeah, you got to keep them out for that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't need you to
Well, when
hear
you
that.
say it all clinical like that, I feel bad for you.
Thank you so
It's not very
much.
funny, though. It is a funny story, but man, when you say it like that, I'm just, there's some kind of cream involved, I hope.
Oh, it was absolutely traumatic. I mean, that's like your first sexual experience as a teenager. You think you're doing this like very private thing. Oh, I'm just trying to figure out what's down there. And then everything swells shut. I had to tell my mom I wasn't old enough to drive. So I had to tell her what happened. Oh. And she had to take me to the clinic.
What device was inserted? Because I'm not a beautician.
It's like the things you see on like Home Shopping Network where it's like, it's a handle, but then you put little different attachments to buff your nails. But the handle was like shaped like a dick. I mean, if you were a teenager, nobody would look at that and be like,
not think it's a dick.
Yeah, you're like, that's going inside.
And also, everything's shaped like a dick when you're a teenager. Clouds, flagpoles, they're all dick shaped.
This has been said a million times, but like, I think if you guys just had a hole down there, like a mystery hole, you would have been shoving shit up there at a way younger age.
The prison pocket.
Yeah. You guys
I've
do
been
have it.
finding army men from when I was 11. Now, you know what I mean? I'd just sit on the toilet and an army man would fall in. I'd go, well, that's from my dad's first apartment.
Christmas Eve. Oh, fun.
I would never. I'd invite my parents to all the stuff I did, except for a short run when I was with Puppetry of the Penis. Okay. And that's the only show, and the Puppetry of the Penis, a lot of same moves your dad would do with the yo-yo, we would do,
I don't even
Around the world.
I want to puke in my mouth right now thinking about this stuff. Horrifying.
How did Puppetry of the Penis even take off? I mean, is that really...
Nah, because women like to see us degrade ourselves.
All right, Mayhem, give me one news story so we can say we did the news before we bring
We can
Patrick
say
in.
we did the news. Let's get after this. I want to hear your take on this.
Okay.
A former student who got the New Jersey teacher pregnant at 13. Okay, you follow me? He wants her charges dropped, and he wants to be a family. Yeah. A controversial case in New Jersey has taken an unexpected turn as a former student who fathered a child with his teacher at the age of 13 is now publicly defending her and calling for the charges to be dropped.
Now, how old is he now?
Now he's 19, going on 20.
All right.
And how old is she?
She is 34 years old. So she was
my
a teenager.
God.
While he was 12. Yeah, she
He
invited
was
them
12
to
or
stay.
13, and
He was
then-
12,
and she
and-
was like 29 or something,
That's
or
so
whatever,
sick.
Yes.
or 28.
That's so disgusting.
Okay, if I was the attorney for the young lady, the teacher, and I did not want her to do time for this statutory rape crime, I would then take the young boy and I would say, you do not want her to do time, do you? And he would say, no, I do not. And I would say, then you have to convert to Judaism. You're 13, you convert to Judaism, we give you a bat mitzvah, or bar mitzvah, and then you become a man. So you're technically, in the eyes
of the Lord,
yes, you are a man, and
Torah
thus entitled to violate a woman as a man. This is no longer statutory rape. You are, in fact, a man. That's why I wait outside of the quinceañeras.
She's beautiful. It's like you could have absolutely gotten men your own
It
age
is
and
weird
older.
when
It's like, why are we...
That version, you know what
daycare?
you're doing? You're chick-splaining because you're doing the version of when you see a decent-looking dude and you go, you didn't have to rape. You could have gotten laid on your own.
Yes.
Interesting.
But it's true. You go, you didn't have to be a rape. But I think that's their kink, you know?
Again, this is, of course, nothing to do with looks. I just think there is
I
a
agree with you.
stereotype.
You're right. She could have met a fucking normal dude and had sex with him, but that wouldn't have been the point, I think.
Of course, it's not the point. But when you read, if I hadn't seen the picture and it's just a story of like a New Jersey teacher who fucked a 13-year-old, you don't picture a girl who looks like that.
Nah,
She's
you know what?
got good bones.
She looks like a kid fucker. That's what I say.
What about her says
She's
kid
something
fucker?
in her eyes and in her orange jumpsuit.
There's a darkness to her soul.
That's what I mean. Yeah. She got lost along the way. She had a 12-year-old boy staying at her house.
But let me say this. You, as an adult and attractive adult woman, having sex with a 12 or 13-year-old boy have an opportunity that most Americans never realize, which is blowing someone's mind. You know what I mean? Like she could be 30 and she could go to an Applebee's and have a little small talk with the bar back who's 41, and he could take her back to his place and bang her on a futon, and he may be happy about it, but his mind isn't blown. You know what I mean? You get to be there while the 13-year-old dude's mind is blowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you get older, you could be getting naked as the chick. You could be getting naked in the room. The guy could be looking at his phone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna order Grubhub. You want something? Like, look at that. 13-year-old, naked, blowjob,
Cirque du Soleil.
mind blown, and you get to experience wonderment, like giving a retarded kid, giving a retarded kid a Corvette or something, and just watch him go like, oh my god, you know. So you could have that. You don't have that with Chad.
Well, why?
You're going to make it back to being a math teacher?
I'm truly very happy. I moved to Minnesota in the month of January to live with him. So that's when you know it's like...
No, I'm not slighting the man. I'm saying you get naked, you walk through the house, he's still staring at his phone.
No.
His mind isn't blown, is what I'm saying. 13-year-old.
Maybe, not like a 13-year-old.
I'm saying if you would have got him when he was 13, it would be mine. And you'd be the recipient of the blown mind.
Ugh.
a sense of wonder.
Just give it some
escapes
thought,
you.
would you please?
It's so gross.
I got a related story if you want to get to it. Schools nationwide banned Crocs, citing safety concerns
good.
over the slippery shoes and twisted ankles. I have firsthand experience with this. Some of the kids in the jiu-jitsu class, as well as kids around the house, are wearing Crocs.
How can they
at
be
school,
slippery?
and
Everybody works in a kitchen
No.
and a restaurant wears Crocs.
Right.
Every nurse wears Crocs. How can they be slippery? You're walking through tile with grease and vomit and whatever all over the place. I mean, nurse, chef, you know what I mean? Like
I like how you combined those two
I
occupations.
combined
into
them because
a
the
floor with
nurse
grease
has got
and vomit.
bile on the ground on
Yeah,
tile.
yeah.
You're back. You got shortening and fat and lard and every what?
You're right, yeah.
I
yeah.
don't buy it.
Well, but kids, they don't have a good sense of their body yet, and they're twisting ankles gain massive popularity amongst children due to their bright colors, customizable charm, and easy slip-on design. But critics argue the features make them very appealing, also make them dangerous.
I'm
in certain
against
settings.
Crocs too, but I don't know.
Also,
I'm gonna
kids
argue
are
they're dangerous.
Only ever running. Like
Yeah.
that's all they do is run.
Yeah.
So I mean, an adult nurse probably not act in the same way. So maybe as adults we haven't tested Crocs the way that kids are.
You're right.
But also,
Not gonna
I
toot my teeth
use
out.
it as a useful tool because if I see anyone who's like bedazzled their Crocs, I'm like, oh, that's a young gay kid. We got to have him talk to somebody. He's probably
know,
struggling right now. He's probably got a lot of feelings. He's
Doesn't know
scared
who
to
he
share.
is.
He doesn't know who he is. Let's just sit down with him, tell him it's okay. The people have feelings, and sometimes they feel for, folks that look like them, and that's okay. If I see the bedazzled Croc with the ankle strap kicked forward,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that kid's gay.
Yeah, I got to put
He
those
doesn't
things
know
in
it.
sport
We
mode.
gotta-
Such a weird.
This is why we
marker for that.
counsel. That's why you have to have counselors. You can talk to them. I wish someone had got hold of Chad.
Oh my god.
Also in the news, Mandy Moore blasts Amazon for delivering packages to in-laws'
what is
burned
this
down
story?
home.
Oh, in-laws.
Yes, actress and singer Mandy Moore has publicly criticized Amazon after one of the delivery drivers left a package at her in-laws' residence, which was completely burned down.
Now, I'm going to do some math. We probably lost more structures in Altadena, California,
Yes.
but that's kind of where the poor people live. Mm-hmm. That's where my dad and his trumpet lived.
Oh.
Mandy Moore probably married up. She's good looking. She was a child star, all that stuff. So her in-laws are in Malibu, probably Palisades, I'm guessing, but not Altadena. She's not marrying into a poor family. So I don't know where this is. Do you know where it is?
This is in Malibu, yeah. It's, I don't know exactly where. I'm not
I
going
knew
to
it.
dox their empty lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they left a. I don't know. This
It's
to
a
me is
crazy
on the
picture.
delivery driver. Kind of like, why on earth were you not? Did you just drive by in the dark and throw that out the window? Because it's
Right.
ashes, heap of ashes. Yeah, a house that no longer exists. She's drumming up some news for yelling at Amazon, but it's really just one delivery driver who wasn't paying attention.
Truly.
Also, people have boundless energy for stuff,
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have enough energy to go after Amazon or even.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You got to write something, and then people are talking about. Now you demand an apology. and
Start
it's
a
just
Facebook group?
Yeah, it seems like a calorie burner.
Yeah, the amount of money I've wasted on things that should be returned, but I'm just too lazy to actually.
Oh my
return
God!
them.
I was sitting here going, I've never returned anything in my life,
It's exhausting.
and I'm like, it's a hassle. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I
Yes.
just take it, or keep it. Or normally, if I ordered a shirt on Amazon and it showed up and it was 2 sizes too small, I would just walk into work and I'd find somebody that was
Yes.
about, and I'd go, "There's your
Yes.
shirt."
I've tried to really limit my online shopping for clothes because it's the same thing. It's like you don't get to try them on until they get to your house, and then it's like they just sit and collect dust.
Yeah.
Or I donate them,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
But
taking
so
them
where's
back.
Mandy get the?
the energy?
She may not be gainfully employed right now, but
Nah,
anyway.
I don't think she's working. So yeah, she's got plenty of time to Karen it up.
All right. Well, you know what someone should tell her?
All right.
We should start a rumor. We'll do it right now.
Cool. I'm into it.
The Amazon driver saw this. Mm-hmm. His supervisor saw it. He got fired, and he killed himself.
Oh,
Let's put that out there, and let's see what. Let's have Mandy. He had a pregnant wife.
Oh my!
She miscarried. He was out of work,
I'm
and he
not
took
part
his
of
own
this.
life. Let's do it. Let's get that and see what Then she's going to have to release something that talks about being sorry and never intended any. Let's just start a rumor that the guy who drove the FedEx truck killed himself.
The funeral service for the Amazon driver who
Yeah.
killed himself after Mandy Moore got him fired will be on Friday.
Okay. Does he have a GoFundMe? I'd like to contribute.
He's got a GoFundMe at /Mayhem Miller.
Yeah, because he did have one. The child she miscarried, but he did have a child from a previous marriage, and he's going to need.
The child is now orphaned.
Yeah. Okay.
The amount of things that have happened. I would have had watching my dad play trumpet in a cathedral, and then starting brutal rumors about Mandy Moore and.
Welcome to the Adam Carolla Show.
I don't know if it's a rumor.
Wild
I don't know if it happened. I don't know if it didn't happen. I can't say. Neither can you. We don't know.
Yeah.
In the driver's defense, it's like, should he have just taken it back to headquarters? Like, would a message have been sent to the Amazon account? It's like, do they get trained for
Yeah,
this?
no,
sort of
you get a delivery receipt.
Yeah.
It's out in front of your ashes.
Well, yeah, it's like, what do you? This is also, it's like an unprecedented thing. I don't know if they had been trained on, like, what do you do if you pull
Maybe
up
it was
and
just AI. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't recognize the dust.
I had a morbid thought, which is people go back and they have to sift through the rubble of seeing
Yeah.
if they could find something. I would say the number one thing that survived the fire would be urns with relatives' ashes not
Yeah.
in them anymore, but the urn itself, the TV set's no good, the washer dryer's no good, but the urn,
Yeah. Still there.
that's reusable. And now there's plenty of ashes. All right, Kelsey, let me give you a plug.
Okay.
Mark Your Territory, name of the new special, available on Hulu and YouTube.
Yes, thank you.
Come back anytime. Give
I
Chad.
would love to. Thank you so
My
much.
love.
God, I hope you get those appetizers. I'm really going to be thinking of you.
Why don't you put your keys up on the table? You wanted to. Why don't you put them on the table? You want to.
Yeah, maybe they ordered too fast and the guy misunderstood.
Put appetizer on the table.
Thank you so much for having me.